to be silent so my editors can get up the front piece.
Okay.
Okay, this is a YouTube reading for SAC. You give me permission to do that?
Yes.
Okay. I will share my screen and we will double check that the chart is right. I have you May 15th, 1977 at 12:58 p.m. in Jacksonville, Florida.
That's correct.
Correct? Okay. So what I like to start with is to show you why it is that I look at the whole picture. And to preface this, I did the research on the human design system and found that quite a few things did not hold true. So I kept looking and ended up, because Ra had told me that the prenatal lunar design as a 15-gate matrix was what happens when we sleep. I realized that because I had homegrown cats and a set of twin kittens, that the prenatal lunar design, which is REM sleep, could not be the whole picture because we know that REM sleep is differentiated from deep sleep. And so I needed to find in animals, in mammals, where their sleep design was and how to calculate it. Also, in humans, we pass through different stages of sleep. And the charts that Ra was given were a clue, but not the whole picture. So, using my background as an astrologer, I did a prenatal solar minute and a prenatal lunar minute calculation, pre-birth and post-birth. And to my surprise, it tracked to developmental stages in early baby development. It tracked to the physiology and to the fact that doctors consider the first 3 months of life as the missing fourth trimester. So I'm going to show you on the mandala itself that you went from the 30th hexagram in Aquarius prenatally. When you were born, it was in the 8th hexagram in Taurus. And by the time you were 3 months old, the sun had gone all the way to the 4th hexagram, or Leo. So if we take the 30 and notice that it's opposite the 4,
Mhm.
it means in your prenatal to postnatal development, half of the zodiac wheel was imprinted into your aura, and the earth imprinted the other half. So at 3 months of age, all of the transiting impact has been imprinted into your design. And what I look at is 8 charts that show the cosmic influences over the 3 month period. And then at 3 months of age, interestingly enough, you become a single definition manifesting generator. In your natal chart, you would be considered a manifester. No, you wouldn't be considered a manifester. You'd be considered a projector because you do not have the sacral center. and you do not have a motor or fuel center connected to the throat. When we look at who you are in your spiritual design, now the spiritual design is a different matrix. These are the four matrices of the four worlds that I have documented scientifically on 45,000 cases. And in 2000, I recently discovered, because I'm about to publish all of the science, and I found a factor analysis I had done that in 2000 I had sent to Ra with a note, happy birthday. But I had never published it or really knew what it meant, other than it validated centers. But when I looked at it now, having studied the tree of life for so many years, it validates the four worlds and it validates the tree of life, because the factor analysis showed me that the way the centers are linked in the tree of life are validated in the body graph. So these are the matrices. And you can see that in the matrices, the physical biological world and the mental waking world are the only two worlds that have a solar plexus. The spiritual world and the emotional world do not. But the emotional angelic world does have the three channels going up from the sacral to the self. And I'm showing you this because in your lunar design, there was a transit that activated unconsciously for you, giving you the direction of yourself. Your prenatal sun, a week before you were born, was in the second hexagram and the first hexagram. And in that design, you also had the eighth hexagram with your personality sun, which was a week before your birth, and the no, in your personality sun when you were born, and you got the first hexagram in the prenatal earth. So a lot of your self-direction comes when you are most spiritually aligned. And what that means is you know what you know when you know it. Nobody can tell you you don't know it, but it is not necessarily in the mental waking world. So, Zach, you are very spiritual, but not always in a conscious way. And because you lose the sacral center, or you don't have it in all but the spiritual, well, you also have it in the solar minute. So 2 days after you were born, which is when attachment happens. So in the sequencing, and feel free to interrupt me if I say something you need clarification on.
Okay.
The way my charts ended up delineating is prenatal, 3 months before birth, the cortex becomes impressionable. And we know that because a baby played music in the third trimester of pregnancy, remembers the music once it's born. If you play the music before the third trimester, they don't remember it. So that's the mental waking world. The spiritual world And I do it as a 64 gate matrix because we know that there is carryover physiologically between the REM sleep and the waking. That's why we remember portions of a dream, not all of it. So, um, for you, your key is not the mental waking world, but the way you bring information from your inner spiritual intuition and inner alignment to the world. Uh, Notice that 3 out of the 4 charts in the postnatal, you are a generator. And in fact, you become a manifesting generator a week after you were born. So, what that tells me about you, and now I'm going to read the chart and give you some information, not just the technical. You're somebody who has a very clear spiritual self direction. And you always need to ask yourself before you take any action whatsoever, you need to ask yourself, is this right for me? Am I going in the right direction? Am I on target to reach my goals? Now, goals are a little bit tricky for you because the route to the splenic center is fairly open, except the gate of goals in the physical world. So, a little bit of a warning to you that if you take the time to know what you know and know what is aligned with you, and you do know that, um, do not compromise, Zach. When you compromise your direction of self or your sensitivity to what's going on around you, things don't work out well for you. Um, there's some inner confusion that you have. You never should do anything without waiting at least 2 days.
Yeah.
And one of the major keys for you is breathing. So if you are contemplating something or you're around, now you pick up emotional energy from the people around you. And the 4130 is Mars and the sun. I think that the way I want to read that in your chart, looking at the progression of charts, is that when you're operating in the mental world, you sometimes get caught in the emotions of other people. And because of the way you're open in all layers except the mental waking world, you're you get seduced into thinking you need to transform the emotional reactions of other people. And when you do that, it pulls you away from yourself. Do I have that?
Yeah. And I'm
Um,
just where
Go on.
where so I see you're looking at the February 15th solar date. Is that the you have the cursor there on that? Is that what we're looking at?
No, I'm actually looking
Okay, sorry.
at the fact that you have no sacral center, no sacral center, no, you have an emotional center in the 4130 with your sun and your Mars.
Oh, I
And
see. I see.
here
Hmm.
in your postnatal solar, you have the
I see.
59 hexagram, which
Mm,
tells me that when you're in the presence of someone whose emotional reactions you picked up, you can transform it for them. But at you can transform it for yourself. But if it's not in your best interest to do so, it's depleting and takes you in the wrong direction and distracts you from yourself.
yeah.
The solution to that is to wait at least 2 days. Ideally, you ask the question, is this my emotions or the other person's emotions? Once you can differentiate that quickly, and that's going to take you some practice,
Mm,
because in the mental world, you're emotionally defined. So sometimes when you get emotional, the emotions do not belong to you. You're
that's
reacting,
wild. Hmm.
but it's true, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I have certainly got it's easy for me to get, I guess what you'd say, fired up by other people. Yeah. And I've also been accused of not having any emotion.
Well, you don't. Um,
Some people don't like that.
well, I know that one because I'm not an emotional person. I can count on my one hand the times I've gotten angry.
Mhm.
Um, because I don't take it in. Now, for you, the key is going to be your breathing
Yeah.
and also the mantra, so to speak. Oh, here's what gets you into trouble.
Oh,
Chiron in the 27, which is the green. It's in the 27 and the 3. So you are a caretaker and you often put yourself aside for the other person, especially if there's a gate 50 transit, because that would hook you up. And the 59 is a portal bridge. So these are the matrices again. You
mhm.
can see there's a green here. They're color coded, and the green
Yes.
is Virgo. So it's
Mm,
very light, but you have it. And you also have the 27. So either side of the sacral center, let me grab a tree of life from my file. Come on. I'm going to have to start putting the tree of life in here. Oh, what did it take me there? Four worlds. Mm, okay, now I'm cooking. Let's see if I have a tree of life. It's this one. I can just put this one in for you. It's a little more technical, but I'm putting it in.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Ah, so this is a tree of life. And what you can see in the tree of life, and this is from me teaching the 28th path, but here you can see that the 30th path and the 28th path correspond to what we were looking at in your chart of the 5027 and the 59-6.
Okay.
And then we have to go from the solar plexus to the splenic center.
Hmm.
So we're going from the solar plexus to the splenic. You don't have that except through the sacral center. Now, if we
Hmm.
look at your charts, how do we go through the sacral center? A transit would activate the 50, and a transit or another person, or a transit or another person would activate the 6. But for you, with an open solar plexus in all but the mental world, and a defined splenic center in every single world,
Oh,
you're likely at times when there's a 50 gate transit to wake up with a sense of angst, like you're supposed to do something.
that was this morning. Yeah. 5:30. I
Um,
woke up.
let's
Yeah.
let's see if today has. I did the transits. Let's see what the 50th gate is. Where's the 50th gate?
There's one bright planet shining through my blinds this morning at 5:30. I don't know which one it was. I didn't have time to look it up,
The
but maybe it was
50
either.
is uh mix between Libra and Scorpio. So, and Scorpio. Oh, the transiting ascendant is in Libra, 28 degrees of Libra. So that was activating you. And it's activating, interestingly, North Node. And so it's activating especially your North Node, which is 32-6. So North Node. Oh, that's your goals. Very interesting. Um, I think
Yeah.
it would be extremely beneficial to you for you to put some attention on setting goals.
I have a million goals. It's terrible.
Do you write down a to-do list every day?
I have and I do. I did not today, and I'm all over the place, being distracted and taking on other people's emotions and yeah. Yep.
The taking on other people's emotions
Hmm.
is a vulnerability for you. And part of it is that you're very smart, Zach, and you are a channel. So not only do you pick up in your body what other people feel a lot of the time, but you also have a talent for thinking way outside the box. And people don't always understand what you're talking about.
That's true.
Um, where's your 4323? You have 23 Jupiter. People would be receptive to what you have to say. Ah, there we go. 2343, right here in the solar minute design. So it's the emotional angelic design. I have your solution.
Okay.
When you, I think, do you meditate?
Yes, I did 20 minutes this morning. It was a guided meditation.
Okay. Um, when you meditate, when you're meditating, meditate for you. And the key question you need to ask yourself, am I aligned? You know what that means?
Sometimes.
Uh, do I know
Thinking
what
it.
I know because I know it? And if I am I going in the right direction for myself and to maximize my goals?
Mm.
If the answer in meditation is yes, then ask what you need to know and for whom. And I'm
Interesting.
saying that because the 4323 in someone with the head definition that you have can be very creative in coming up with solutions for other people, especially with your chart. But it's not always right to do it for another person rather than yourself.
Mm.
And you tend to give yourself away and then get angry that you did.
Yeah.
So, and you take it out on yourself internally, not externally.
Hmm.
So, breathing. So, at the end of a meditation, I would take a few minutes to breathe. There's a good app called Breathe,
Okay.
and you can set it to have a longer exhalation than inhalation. And that's what you want to do. And then, am I carrying this for someone?
Mm.
And what do I know about my direction for today? See, you know spiritually who you are. You just learned to be in the world and you're not really comfortable there.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
insightful.
teach, Zach, I teach the four worlds.
Mm.
That's really my work. And I designed a four world assessment that's free, and you could take it. We're putting it online. And I do have a class called Step Over the Threshold that
Hmm.
actually takes you over 5 days through all four worlds. Um, what do you do as work?
Oh man, I don't want to take up too much time, but I'm all over the map right now. My my passion, I guess you'd say, is performing and playing music, but that's been a difficult ride, you know, as a sole means of income. And so I had defaulted over the years to working in construction. So I'm currently self-employed, with a construction business, um, with licenses and all that stuff. And it it brings me no joy to do it. And I'm doing it, but I have a lot of troubles, like money management problems, personnel problems, all kinds of challenges every day because I don't like doing the work. I mean, I do it, but I'm not very passionate about it, you know. But
Can you hire someone to do the part you don't like doing
so
and
I
be a
try, I have
supervisor?
tried that. Yes, I've tried to do that. I try to take myself out of the equation. I invariably get back into it, you know. I'm in this kind of a circular thing at the moment.
And what kind of music do you play?
So I like playing acoustic music, swing, gypsy jazz, bluegrass, mostly gypsy jazz though, guitar and harmonica,
And
and
do you do it in clubs or recording?
both over the years. Yep.
And where do you live now?
I'm in Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, in
in
fact,
I'm in Mount Pleasant.
that's right. Yeah, I had a gig at Kiowa Resort last week. That was pretty fun. Yeah.
Where is that?
Kiowa Highland is it's like if you go across, if you're in Mount Pleasant, you go across the city on your like you're going to Folly Beach, and then instead you
Uh-huh.
go to Johns Island, and then Kiowa Island is just past Johns Island,
Oh,
going
well,
south.
if you're playing again, let me know.
Okay, I sure will. Thanks.
But
Yeah, so my big dilemma for now in my life is figuring out, or I feel like I need to figure out why I'm not as great at managing money as I should be. One, um, and I think the reason is
I,
because I'm
are
doing
you in a
something I
relationship?
not a serious relationship at the moment. I just got out of one that I didn't want it to end, but it ended. So my relationships have been very difficult,
Um,
certainly.
you don't have an easy chart because of the
Yeah.
openness,
Hmm.
which and the self-direction in it. And so you're sort of torn
Yes.
with empathy and caring and wanting to help people.
Yeah,
And
that's what ended my second marriage. I had an old school friend who was a woman, was suicidal, and I began to talk to her, and my wife was like thinking that I was having an affair, and which was great is ludicrous. But anyway, it's what happened, and that was like the last straw, you know, for me with that because it was not comfortable. But yeah, I haven't been really great in relationships. Um, so yeah.
well, Zach, the reason is that you're very strong. Let me look at your astrology. Maybe that will give us some additional clues.
Sure will. Yeah, it's all
You
super
have very
concentrated.
strong values
Mm.
and you're not willing to compromise them. And when you do compromise them, you feel really shitty.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Mm.
and then so your sun is in Taurus,
Mhm.
your ascendant is in Leo, and your moon is in Aries. So you have two fixed signs with a fire sign. So it's almost as though it's the Saturn in Leo in the 12th house that's causing you issues because you have very strong values and a lot of depth that not everybody will understand.
This is true because the last woman I was um involved with kept saying I was I didn't I, that I lacked depth, and and she was some years younger than I was, and I just felt like maybe I'm just out of, she's out of my depths.
No,
I don't
she
know.
was the one without the depth. You have an intensity that she clearly could not understand.
I think sometimes I've like overwhelmed people
You
just
do.
just
And
by
there's
my
no
mere
question.
presence. And
You're a
that's
Leo,
been, yeah.
so you're like the lion roaring when you come
Hmm.
into a room,
Yeah.
and you have a strong aura and a strong presence with that 214 boom. You know who you are, and people had better not mess with you. But you're so open that you lose yourself, and then they don't know who you are. And then they accuse you of things that they've projected on you because you've been caretaking rather than recognized for who you are.
Gosh, man.
This is, hi, Matt. Hey, baby. My dog just came home, one of
Oh,
my
cool.
dogs. And he came in to say hello to me.
Hmm.
So, this is what's called a dwad. So, every 30-degree astrology sign can be broken into a whole zodiac with 12 signs in it. So, this is showing sort of the undercurrent. So, notice that in the 10th house, which is how you present yourself to the public, you have an air sign. But the ascendant of the undercurrent is Aries. So you
Hmm.
have two, when you come into a room, you command it. And yet you don't feel like you command it.
Hmm.
Um,
Only in some situations. For example, if I'm out in a music setting, then that's kind of where I feel most comfortable. If I have to go to a construction meeting, it's the last place I want to be. You know?
um, maybe you could, I don't know what you do to earn money, Zach, if
Well,
you don't do your construction business.
yeah,
I
I
think
either
part of the lack of
mhm,
money management is the
mhm.
resentment against how you made the money.
This is true. Yeah. Gosh, that's so perceptive. You could see that from the charts or something. Yeah.
I see it from the chart and I'm psychic.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So
It's
let me look at the transits here. Let me see what is going to help you. Okay. Um, what gigs do you have for music now?
um they're they're hit and miss. Like there's one Saturday night for a few hours in a bar. There's another one Monday evening, similar. And then Wednesday is at a like a an afternoon farmers market. Um,
Do you ever um, invite people who could give you a label or who can give you more bookings?
Sometimes it's been a strange time because I thought, well, as I'm getting older, maybe I should just need to focus on doing construction, but that's been a boomerang coming back to cut me out because for very sundry reasons.
When
So,
were you born? You were born in 77.
mm. And so, but I'm getting over this notion that I shouldn't do music anymore. That's a bad
You
path.
no,
That's a bad
Zach.
path. Yeah, I have to keep going on music. I can't do construction. I have to draw it down and get away from it because
Um,
it's not
if you can
fulfilling.
hire someone to do it,
Hmm.
do it. Um, you know what I think? I think you should get a small group of musicians together
Mhm.
and do some jamming.
Yeah, so that's coming up this week and in the next couple of yeah, the next few
It's
gigs
right
are
here.
with
It's right
others.
here
Oh,
in the
cool.
chart.
Huh.
And what I'm seeing in the 10th house, which is how you present yourself to the public,
Hmm.
that now is the time for you to make yourself public.
Okay.
So I don't know how that's going to come about. And you have a good aspect for money in the second house. So I'm going to stop my share
Okay.
because we're running out of time. But
Yes, ma'am.
um, okay, so
Oh my God, I gotta tell you, are we off YouTube now?
no,
Are we off? We're not on. We're
I
still
can
on
I
YouTube.
can shut it.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Zach, for doing the YouTube reading. If you're watching
Yes.
this video, like and subscribe. It helps our channel, and I appreciate you watching.
Thank you. It's been amazing.
Wait a minute.